There is hot news in the real estate market. It's the June market update. Hey everybody, it's Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. The market is definitely on the move again. Nothing is status quo around here. So let's jump right into the numbers and then we'll chat about what's going on in the market. Buyers put 5,800 homes under contract in May. That is down 4% from the year before. We saw 5,400 closings in May. That is up 2% from 2021. And we had about 6,700 new listings hit the market in May. That's up 10% from May 2021. Since we're starting to see this market shift into something that's completely different than where we've been these last 2 years, it's totally worth noting that these new listings are still below where we were in 2019. For May of 2019, we had about 8,000 new listings in May, so about 18% more than we have right now. And 2019's new listings year to date outpaced where we are so far this year by about 13%. We closed out May with about 4,200 properties left on the market for sale. This was an improvement of about 1,500 more homes available for sale from the previous month. Now, that's up 55% from last year, but down 32% from 2 years ago. Yep, not a typo. Down 32% from the May of the year that COVID kicked in. Kind of hard to believe because everybody was staying home. Nobody knew what was really going on. Yeah, that's kind of wild. We ended the month with about 24 days of available inventory, which is the most we have had in the Denver market since fall of 2020, but we are still under that 30-day threshold, bringing us to 23 months straight of being at less than 1 month of inventory in the Denver market. Average days on market increased by 1 from the month before up to 9. Median days held steady still at 4. All right, let's get to home prices. The list to sales price ratio dropped to a flat 105% from a high of 106.8. It did not make it down to the 103% I projected last month. Kind of surprised me, actually. I think we'll make it to that or maybe even below by the next month's update. But that nearly 2% drop was still great news for buyers. The average close price for all homes in May was $709,000. That's down $10,000 from the month before, still up 16% from a year ago, and up 45% from 2 years ago. The single family home price average is sitting at $799,000. That is down $19,000 from the month before. That is up 16% from 1 year ago and up 49% from 2 years ago. Average price for condos and townhomes as of May, $495,000. That's actually up $5,000 from the previous month, also up 13% from a year ago and up 35% from 2 years ago. Let's shift over to those median home prices. The median sold price for all homes lands at $614,000 for May. That's down just $3,000 from the month before. This is an increase of 15% from a year ago and up 41% from 2 years ago. The median single family home price, $670,000. That's down $10,000 from the previous month. However, it's up 14% from 1 year ago and up 43% from 2 years ago. When we look at condos and townhomes, that median price is at $430,000, down $7,000 from the month before, but it's up 15% from 1 year ago and up 32% from 2 years ago. So I have to tell you that the market is changing so fast that even these numbers feel old to me. Now, we are still selling more homes each week than we are putting new homes on the market. That means buyers are on the hunt and sellers, you should know that. Really, it's those homes that are sitting there and languishing and need the price drops that keep our inventory moving in that upward direction. Here's a snapshot from our past week that gives you a feel for kind of what the market looks like right now. We had 1,600 new homes hit the market. We put 1,700 homes under contract, but we had a little over 1,400 homes that were sitting on the market still that went through price drops. So the biggest news of the week is mortgage rates. Hands down, they have tipped into the 6% range. Now, if you go online and poke at some of those online lenders, They're gonna try to say their rates are below 5, but really once you get in there, almost everyone is over 6 unless you're paying points and buying it down, at least as of the last 24 to 48 hours. It's the first time that we've seen rates over 6% since 2008, and this is double where we were when we started the year. We were at 3% back in January, so this really is huge. No part of the real estate market is going unscathed. It certainly has builders on their heels. Nationwide, it's causing them to offer discounts, rebates, promotions, price cuts, and more. Let me read you an email I just received from a builder about a specific community just up the road. Hi, Alyson. We hope this email finds you well. Our team in Castle Rock, Colorado wanted to let you know that we have had a price adjustment in our community, with lot premiums and base prices being reduced. Additionally, we are also offering a $25,000 incentive that can be applied toward a rate buy down. That's a lot of money to apply toward a rate buy down, but they're trying to give people the opportunity to get from 6, or maybe where the rate will be in a year when you buy their house, and who knows where it'll be, back down toward 5 or maybe less. So it can be applied toward rate buy down, design center choices, or as an additional discount off the price of the home. So they're giving people options. We feel that these adjustments are necessary for current market conditions, which, while remaining strong, are continuing to be challenging for buyers. This is what the builder has to say. It is our hope that with the interest rate increases, our reductions in pricing will make our beautiful homes once again fit in your budget. Okay, so I just received that email. This builder who builds a higher end home, I would say their finished prices are certainly over $1 million, usually capping out right now somewhere at the 1.5, 1.6 range for the most part, depending on lot. These builders are usually not the ones who are having challenges. It's a higher level builder. They're feeling the pinch too. So what are we seeing in the existing home market? Well, let's take a look back. I want to show you some data and stats. You know, I can be a little bit of a data nerd, and a lot of you seem to enjoy it. So let's take a look at this graph. Here's what rates have looked like for the past 50 years. Even with the 1970s pulling us up to an average rate over time in the 7s from these historically low rates we've enjoyed that are in the 2s and 3s. Even when we look over just the last 20 years from the 2000s, here's what rates have been looking like. I think it's helpful for us to see that rates have not always been down in the 2s and 3s. Most of us know that, most of us have heard it, but to see it visually is a good solid reminder that we are not probably going to be back in the 2s and 3s for a very long time, and that rates in the 4s, 5s, and 6s is probably going to be normal. So we are in a phase of readjustment, as uncomfortable as it probably is. But what does it look like for us as we come back into this readjustment? Right now, what we're seeing is that there's more inventory on the market for buyers, absolutely, because in part, buyers are just slower to choose a home. They have the opportunity to be more decisive, really, to choose what they want, to be picky, to be a little more demanding on the seller. Also, there is some downgrading from initially maybe being up at $850 to $950 price range. They may be choosing to move down to $750 or maybe a little lower. And then with that comes a readjustment of expectations. And so there's a little lag time in purchase as there's a rearrangement of priorities. So sometimes part of this is a lengthening of the buying cycle because of the shift in budget and allocating where the money's going to go, and then how am I going to choose what I want now that I've shifted what I'm looking at in a home. Also, we are seeing some of that inventory increase is just that some buyers have decided to sit it out. They're waiting. They're readjusting, whether it's waiting on a bonus, waiting on the stock market to change, just feeling like maybe they can't right now. Maybe they're going to move to a different location, go to a lower cost of living city where they can get more house for less money. There's just all sorts of shifts in the market thanks to what's happening right now. What we're seeing on the seller side, a little bit of a mixed bag. Some sellers are more than happy to finally list their property, and here's why. They have been waiting to buy something without feeling like they're diving into shark-infested waters. And finally, the market has calmed down They feel like, okay, I have a chance. I can sell my house. I've got all this equity that has built up over time. And then for sure, over these last couple of years, I mean, look back at that data we just chatted about. We're seeing that single family home prices have improved nearly 50% over 2 years. So even if the market softened a bit, they're capturing all of that. And then now they can go buy something and not have to compete because there are very few bidding wars right now. On the flip side though, with the seller are the ones who refinanced a home over the last couple of years and have a rate that's like 2%, 2 3/4, 3 1/3. They don't want to touch an interest rate that's at 6 if they can't pay cash or mostly cash for a property. So there is a lot of holding on very tightly to what's already in hand. So that part, the low interest rate part over the last couple of years, does have the potential to keep inventory tight in the long run. It's very hard to let go of a 2 or 3% rate mortgage. We are certainly seeing that these rates are softening the market. Home prices are softening. Bidding wars almost non-existent. Very, very rare. And in some instances, sellers are lucky to receive numerous showings and any offers in the first several weeks their house is on the market. I will say much of that does have to do with the agent they select to market their home, though not every bit of that falls on the shoulders of the agent. Some of it has to do with the location of the property, how it's been maintained, desirability, where is it, proximity to downtown or highway, other things of that nature too. The most common question I am getting asked, how is this going to affect the real estate market? Should I buy now? Should I wait a few more weeks? I've got some time on my side. My short answer is I don't know. I wish I knew. When COVID hit us 2 years ago, in the first few weeks, almost everybody thought that the whole entire economy was going to shut down and we were headed for a very fast, very deep recession. Now, there is some blowback that we are still experiencing from that season. However, during the last 2 years, real estate has exploded, right? So what I can share with you is that time after time after time, data continues to show that home prices increase through recessionary times. Here is some more data in a different way than I've shared in the past that shows that. This is from urban.org. It shows a positive correlation between inflation and home prices. Then, not to skew the story, they do also share that in times of rapidly increasing mortgage rates, we do see decreasing home price appreciation. So if rates keep rising and rising quickly, it's possible that we'll see home price appreciation drop dramatically and home prices soften maybe to a little bit closer to where they were early this year, maybe somewhere into last year. We'll have to see. Final thoughts. Sellers, we usually sell and buy in the same market. As you look back just on this month's data, you know that over the last 2 years, you've increased your home value roughly 50%. So even if you sell in a softening market, you have so much equity in your home. So if you are looking to go somewhere, make a change, grab a second property, retire somewhere new, now is a great time to capitalize on it. Just know in a market like this where inventory is increasing and buyers have more choice, more homes to look at, how you market your home really matters. You must choose the right agent. So I just grabbed an example the other day while I was looking at homes for a client. It was a luxury home. It was marketed by an agent from a brokerage that's a small one here locally. They're known for really only marketing more luxury listings. This listing was dismal, can I tell you? The agent took cell phone pictures only, didn't edit them, didn't color correct them, nothing. The house wasn't staged, prepped, somewhat uncluttered. I mean, it was a horrible house, but there was nothing special done. I promise you that house is going to languish on the market. I'm not sure what this agent had promised their clients. Maybe they made no promises, but those sellers did not get themselves a proactive agent who's going to work for them in this market shift. Don't be one of those sellers. Buyers, what are your takeaways? The rate increases have certainly softened the market. Very few homes are going into bidding wars on any given weekend. That means you're probably not offering $100,000 over list price anymore, which was pretty close to the norm back in March and April. We've talked in the past about how every 1% increase in interest rate impacts your buying power by about 10%, right? It reduces it. But the bidding wars we were in spring were pushing us 10, at least 15, sometimes 20% over list price. So now that we've eradicated that part of it, You really have power to be purchasing a home at list price, not having to put limits on your inspection, have control about how much you put down on your loan. So really, we were in a place where if a buyer wasn't putting 20, 25, 30% down on their loan, sometimes more, they weren't even getting looked at by a seller. Now it's possible to come in and put 5%, 10%, because you may be the only offer. So your whole financial picture, you're much more in control of. It's really not a bad time to come in and buy a home right now. You may not like the rate. However, you can lock in the price of your home and you can refinance your rate. You can recast your mortgage. There are things you can do, but you really actually are in much more control of your financial picture right now, most likely, than you were back in the bidding war era of just a few months ago. So I just want to plant that seed for you and encourage you in this season. And I don't see this season of buyer power changing rapidly. So just kind of put it out in front of you for the next several months to think, is it the right time for me? However, we want to watch the rates. The more they go up, the less fun it gets. Sellers and buyers, one thing I feel confident about, home prices will continue to increase. We may see a downward blip, but we don't have enough inventory for buyer needs and the households that are being created. By some estimates, we have 4 million millennials and Gen Zers who are going to hit their 30s over the next 20 years. Mid-30s is average first-time home buyer age. With people living longer and staying in their homes longer, we do not have enough homes and home turnover, nor do we have builders building enough homes to meet the current demand. Supply and demand, as we always talk about, we are going to see home prices increase. It's great to be with you. Jump in, share your thoughts on the market. Would you sell and buy in this market? Why or why not? And I will see y'all next week.